Hello, thank you for looking at this first draft of the Woodburn CLT Google Site template. I'm hoping you'll give me some feedback on this template and for me can make revisions and then go through several drafts before we think we're ready to roll it out in October. So what this is it's a template which is going to be kind of the standard format that we're going to use for each of the different grade levels. And once we go through the revisions and get it approved, then I can make a copy, one for kindergarten, one for first grade, and so on. But this is kind of like the master copy, and I'll just take you through a little tour here. I figure it'd be easier to do this through a video than it would be through email and lots of pictures and arrows and whatnot. So the first page is the agenda notes and calendar section, and this is where you could add the dates that you meet and add links to the Google Docs, which will have the notes on them. And so this is the example where you can see they've written in the dates and then the subject, and then there's a section for quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and so on. You can click this here and this will open up a notes template, which we can discuss at a later time if we need to revise this, but I just took one and then took up all the notes and I thought, hey, maybe this could be the template. So you can make a copy of that template and then add your notes to it and then create links. So here you would just type in the date and then the subject and then add a link to it. At the bottom of the page you can insert a Google Calendar. So this is a screenshot of the 4th grade Google Calendar for their grade level, and then you can see they have it just helps you keep track of the different units and then some other appointments there as well. And then here I listed some directions to follow to delete this picture and then add your own calendar. So now we're going to move over to the math section. So if you remember, we are going to be piloting math this year. It's going to be required that all grade levels keep a math section for their CLT, their Google site, and then language arts will be it'll be required that you maintain a Google site, a language arts page next year. But as for the math, it's split in half. On the right side you can keep a math Google Calendar, and again it's the same thing. This is a screenshot, and you can see that 5th grade, this helps you keep track of Unit 5, when that ends and when Unit 6 begins. And it's shared with your teammate, it's interactive. On the left side, this is where you're going to post your pacing guide and then your team frames, which I'll get into in a second. So here, quite simply, you're going to copy this and then you're going to insert a link through your math pacing guide from eCart. And so the final link will just say Math Pacing Guide 2016-17. You can delete the insert link to part. So then we've broken it down by unit. For Unit 1, you would simply just delete where it says topic and you would type in the topic. And you can do all of this by clicking the Edit Page button, which at this point I'll just say that I'm not getting so much into the how do you do all this stuff. I'm more interested in your feedback on how it looks and how functional it is. I'll get into the weeds and how you do all this stuff later, so don't worry about it. We'll fill you in. You'll be well versed in how to do all that stuff. So so Unit 1 and then your pacing guide, you would just highlight this and add a link to your pacing guide for Unit 1. Now your team frame, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, okay? So you click where it says team frame and it's going to take you to a link. This is a link to another section of the Google site. Now I know last year in 4th grade what they did is they created a Google document for each unit, and they had the team frame spread out horizontally. and you can see as you move down the page the different strands or standards for Unit 1. And then looking from left to right, you can see the mini lessons, resources, assessments, and so on. And there's links that you can click on which will open up to those assessments, which is great. But for me personally, you're looking at it horizontally, the text is really small and it can get kind of crammed. And then when you scroll down here, you kind of lose track of what these columns really are, you know, and so it can be a little bit difficult to organize it when you're trying to organize it from left to right. So I thought, well, why can't we try to organize it vertically from top to bottom? This gives you more room in the column where you're going to have more room to type, and it's not going to be so crammed. So instead of, again, here's your math standard 2.A, let's say, you're looking across. Well, this could be your 2.A right here, and then 5 days and the assessment questions. So you're looking at it from top to bottom. Now, you let me know what you think about that. Which you want to go with. And by doing it this way within the site, it's less Google Docs that you have to keep track of this way. Otherwise, you'd have to link these to Google Docs, which is fine. But I figure this way it might be a little bit one less thing you'd have to do. So this is 2.A and then everything. And then if you scroll down, okay, then this could be 2.B and so on. And so I have enough of these charts and tables, 6 I think, and you can always add more, just kind of looking at it that way. So let me know what you think about that. So I have them for the first 4. That was Unit 1. This is Unit 2, and so on. You also notice that if you, I think if you scroll down, down here, you can see the subpages here. They're the same links that are here. I didn't do all of them because I'm not going to go all through the work and you guys don't like it, and then I've done that work for nothing. If you like it, great, I can keep going. But if you want to try something different, more something like this, let me know and we can go a different direction. It's all about you guys. Okay, and then so moving on now, language arts, it's there. I did a little bit of work on it, but we're really not going to be expected to be doing language arts this year. But I have it anyway, and this is kind of a start. It's the same thing, your pacing guide, and very much the same idea with your unit titles and team frames, which could become links, but I didn't get there yet. And then you have your Google Arts, your language arts calendar, which then you can insert using the same way that you did for math. There's also a page you'll notice for science and social studies, but we're really not that far on the path yet, so those are just pages that are unavailable. And health and FLE, the same thing. I guess it wouldn't be FLE for each grade level, so that would be specific, I guess, to 4th and up. Data, so you have your data days, presumably, I'm not sure for each quarter, but there's a table chart for each quarter. And then these can be links to Google Docs, so it might look something like this. This is 4th grade's data day back in February. And I kept this to Google Doc just because this one's a lot easier. There's not as many columns. So I kept it a Google Doc. I know obviously in a Google Doc you can do simultaneous editing. I don't know for sure you can do simultaneous editing on a Google site. So I'm waiting to hear back from that. So we can keep these data days. Oh, let's see. Data dates Google Docs, or maybe we could consider embedding them into the Google site. Let me know what you think. Working agreements, so you have a section where you can enter in your team norms, your working agreements. To-do list, this would be kind of cool. There's a gadget here where you could add the team member, what they're going to be doing, a date, and then when it's resolved or how it's resolved, and click save. And then you can keep track of these different tasks that each people are doing, and you can move them up and down. So that might be something you want to do if it's there, but you don't have to. And then the school improvement plan. So there would be a link to. That's obviously going to be a lot more detailed, so it would probably be a separate Google Doc, I guess, where you could, again, go through the SIP and then the goals and then your reflections upon if you met those goals or whatnot. So there you have it, kind of the bare bones. It's a start. Please review it, use the link, browse through, look it over, and let me know what you think. This is kind of the round one revisions, and then from there we'll take it to team leaders and Bridget, Ramona, and myself, and then we'll keep going. And it's not gonna be perfect, before we roll out in October, but I think it'll be there to something where we can really work with and kind of revise it and be a work in progress throughout the year. I think we're off to a good start. Thanks very much for your help, the first step moving forward with this, and look forward to hearing back from you. Thanks a lot. Bye.